All right, so I've got my first layer of my little piece. This is my little giraffe, and you can see it's a little bit sloppy. Partially, I knew that was going to happen because I didn't let the gloss medium or matte medium dry before adding additional wet media. So you can see, some of the tissue paper came off as I was pressing hard and dragging my oil pastels through. But this is a great starting place, and this can even be a finishing place because the goal is to get the energy of your animal, that animal medicine coming in. It's not about what it looks like and how perfect it is. But you can see starting with that printout and then layering my paint on top allows me to have that starting point. And for some people, that helps them loosen up and begin to receive the energy more fully because they're not so concerned about technique. They're not so concerned about, oh my God, that ear's too big, or I drew that eye lopsided. You have literally glued your picture to the paper and you're painting on top of it. So you already have that foundation. So what I ended up doing was starting with the light colors and just dabbing some paint on top. Then I dabbed with my fingers some of the brown copper metallic paint on top. Then I started smearing background colors around, and then you can see the lines where I dragged my oil pastel through to create some lines in the background, some movement. That was personal preference. It's not something that you have to do. And then I went back with one of my water-soluble oil pastels and just added kind of the eyelashes and a couple more lines. Now, you can add more to this. The cool thing about layering media and mixed media is that you can let this dry and then come back with another layer with different supplies. Maybe you want to play around with some transparent acrylics or some oil paint sticks or some water-soluble oil pastels. You can layer something new on top, just knowing that sometimes when you add new water-soluble media, it will reactivate the layers that you have. So just kind of go in there with a loose plan, but nothing that you're too committed to that's gonna make you cry if it doesn't end up working out. So I'm just going back now and adding a little bit more yellow to places in my, just smoothing out some of those oil pastel lines. But I am actually very satisfied with this as a beginning piece, and I'm going to save it, and I may end up adding layers to it later. The other cool thing about layering is as you work with energies, as you begin to receive, as you invite the animal medicine into your world and start to work with it more deeply, there will be more layers of energy and meaning that start to come out for you. So the cool thing about having something like this laying around is as the energy begins to deepen for you, you can always come back to this piece. Maybe there are words that stand out in the description, or maybe you're doing a meditation and your animal communicates something to you. Maybe you come back and add those words or add some more imagery to this piece. So we're not planning for the future. We are allowing new possibilities to emerge and new alchemy to be made. All right. So our next demonstration is using an existing background. You can see how I added that tissue paper and added color and paint on top. This is an existing piece that I showed you earlier. I am going to cut out another giraffe. Well, I'll show you the rip out method. Rip. Very loose, very loose. I'm just ripping this out. So I've ripped out my little giraffe, and then I'm just going to decide, I think I'm going to make this a landscape piece. So I'm just going to stick my giraffe on here, getting out my gloss gel medium again, and smearing it on. Here we go, here we go. All right, and then I'm just pushing him down on top of the gel medium I've smeared around, and then I'm putting more gel medium on my finger, and I'm just gonna spread it over the top of, especially over the edges, not so much all over the top as just pushing down the edges and making sure those are secure. So he doesn't come peeling off, or she. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl giraffe. All right, so I've got my giraffe on there. And now I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time, which is just intuitively apply my media. I am actually going to use these oil paint sticks. So these are oil paint, but they are so much fun to play with. They smear a little bit better than the water-soluble oil pastels, and they also resist water. So if you put water on top of them, it will bead a little bit, which can be a fun effect. Again, the goal is to play. So what supplies do you want to play with? Don't make yourself do something. If you want to explore a new medium and just see what kind of properties it has, that's completely fine. You know, nobody's being judged here. This is about you feeling and intuiting and playing joyfully, right? And for me, colors make me joyful. So that's why I've got so many colors. So I'm just going to flip you around and let you watch, and we will meet again in a few seconds.